Okay, we're going live. Let's see. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you is on right now. Can you hear me? Okay, good morning, Alina. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. We're gonna get started in a few, 1 minute or so. Okay. Yeah, I'll make it public today because I'm giving a lecture. So I'll make it a public lecture today so that so everybody can benefit from this. And it will be pretty good for, let me sit back a little bit. So people can benefit from this. Okay, let's see who else is on. People are hiding, so I'm not seeing a lot more people coming in yet. Anyway, today I would like to talk about lineage. Somebody asked me a questions, and so I want to talk about it. Why lineage is important. In the past, I did a video on my lineage. Let's see, on my lineage and the importance of lineage. I didn't talk about it. Pretty much my training years during my younger days all the way today, and what the style that I've learned and how I met my teacher and all that. So I have a video in my YouTube channel. You can look for it. I'll try to attach it later on to this video if I can. Possible, do it. I don't remember how to do it. Anyway, good morning. We got one more person, and please say hello if you're here. Why lineage is important? Okay, first of all, I give you a brief information about myself, about my lineage, so you have an idea who am I for those who's new to this channel. Well, I started learning Chinese Kung Fu first in Malaysia. I was raised in Malaysia, and I went to the Malaysia Kuala Lumpur Chengwu School. I learned my Shaolin Kung Fu there. And then in my early 20s, I came to America. I came to college in America. And I started teaching Kung Fu in University of Houston. And then I graduated with a computer science degree and moved to Dallas. And I continued teaching. And I met a very famous young style Tai Chi teacher, Tu Chongqing, from Taiwan. He was here. We become business partner. And we started a martial arts school called Tung Pu Martial Arts Center. And he teaches young style Tai Chi. I was teaching Qingwu Shaolin Kung Fu. And at the same time, I also started to learn Yang-style Tai Chi. And I have a very serious car accident, almost died. I was pretty much hurt. And at the time, I just started Tai Chi. And then he said, hey, maybe you should do Tai Chi seriously. And I did. And I was completely healed or recovered. That's the word I should use. And from that point onwards, I totally believe the benefits of Tai Chi, what it has done for me to recover so fast. So I trained very seriously. And then I started researching on it and found out a lot of information. And I also did acupuncture. I went to acupuncture school in Austin. And then when I finished school there, I decided to go to Beijing to continue my study of Tai Chi. And my Yang-style Tai Chi teacher was very open-minded, encouraged me to do that. So I decided to look for Wu Hao Tai Chi. I found out that Wu Hao at the time was called Wu Tai Chi. It wasn't popular. And I found out the reason is because they didn't have to teach for a living, most of the teachers. So everything was kind of quiet, not known. They don't advertise, they don't let people know. So a very small group of people that know it. So I found my great teacher, Grandmaster Wen Han, and along with him. And at the same time, I also found a Chen-style teacher, Li Zhongying, who is a student of, actually a disciple of Chen Fa-Ke. So I didn't study long. I studied the entire form, that's for sure. But I did not continue with it because there's too many things I need to get involved. So I decided to focus on Wu Hao. But I did learn the entire Wu form, and I taught to several people in Dallas, Texas. Anyway, let's talk about lineage. Lineage, it's very, very important. When you go back and look at the founders of Tai Chi, you know, like from Chen Style, Chen Changxing, and then Yang Luchan went and learned from Chen Changxing, and then Wu Yuxiang, our founder, learned from Chen Qingping. So they come from the Chen Style Tai Chi. So we can say that Chen Style is the forefathers of Tai Chi. But of course, other people also claim that Tai Chi comes from Zhang Changfeng. But so there's many story behind it. But the important thing is the style that you are in. It's very, very important that you have to understand your style. So let's say if you decide to learn Wu Hao style, you need to find out about your lineage. It's like trying to find out where you come from, where were you born, who is your grandparents, and you keep on going back as much as you can, so that you can start researching on it and then get the best out of it. Okay? For Wu Hao style, we were great because we can trace back to Wu Yuxiang. Is Wu Yuxiang a real person? Yes, it's less than 300 years ago. It has to be a real person. So that's enough information of his existence. Of course, we don't have a live photo of him, but somebody did draw him. So, you know, back then, there's a lot of artists. They can draw, and they can draw exactly like you. And his house is still there, where he lived, where he trained. And at the time when I was there, they were about to bring the house down. That was in the year 2000. That's more than 24 years ago. They wanted to pull the house down and rebuild something else because they didn't have money. And so it's kind of sad that they're going to pull it down unless somebody remodel it. So I spent some money remodeling it. Me and my student, we donated more than, I believe, maybe more than $60,000 or $70,000. I don't remember US dollars. That's a lot of money at the time. That's times 8. That's almost $500,000 there. That's times 8 means $480,000. So they remodeled the place and and then we built a monument. And so the monument is still there. The last time I went there, that was 7 years ago, it's still there. I hope they don't remove it. And when you go there, you can see the monument that we built. a stone to show three generation, and you can see it's still there, I hope. And if you see it, go to the back of the monument, you can see USA Qingwu was there. So we built it for them, you know. So anyway, so Lineage founder, because they are founder, and because they are great-grandparents, it is very important that, let me see who else is here. If you're online, please say hello to us, okay? They lay down the foundation of our training, okay? And they spend a lot of time researching this art. Now, even though Wu Shang learned from Chen Qingping, which is a small French Chen style, Wu Shang was already an accomplished martial artist because he trained many styles of martial art, especially the northern style, called Hong Quan, the Hong Quan of northern style, and some Shaolin, northern Shaolin also. So he's a very accomplished martial artist. And when he learned the Tai Chi, he spent lots of time training, of course, researching. And he also taught to his nephew, all right? And his nephew is Li Yu, a young nephew, which is 20 over years younger than him. And they spend the next 9 to 12 years researching that art, training pretty much almost every day. Because back then, they don't work very much because families are quite rich. Liu Xiang family, parents, uncles and relatives are all governor, minister of the district where they live. So they don't need to go to work except go to school and study. So Liu Xiang is a scholar, Liu Yu is a scholar. So they have a lot of time, a lot of money to have so they can do what they like to do, which is training Tai Chi. So they developed this formula about how Tai Chi should move, how we do certain body mechanics, how we attack somebody, how we defend, and how we can make this art a complete art. So Wu Shang and Liu Yu did that, especially Wu Shang. Liu Yu is just his training partner, or his second generation. So when we get a good lineage, we need to preserve this lineage as much as we can, so that we can keep this transition or transmission to us to be as pure as we can. But unfortunately, things will go away because each generation has their own ability, their capability, their thoughts, and their mindset of how they look at things. So what do we need to do as a lineage holder or as a disciple, especially a disciple, you know, so that to keep the art as pure as we can. And that is our job as disciple. As a students, maybe not. But as a disciple, yes, you know. So from Wu Shang to Liu Yu taught 2 people or 3 people, I think about 3 people. And then Hao Chen, which is the most important person, I think, for spreading the art. Hao Chen is responsible for spreading the art because he did teach it for a living. So he taught to many people. He taught to his son, Hao Yueru. He taught to his grandson, Hao Yingru, Hao Shaolu, from Hao Chen, Hao Yueru to Hao Shaolu, and then from there the art spread to Shanghai. My lineage is from Hao Chen, Li Shengduan, because Hao Chen went to Xingtai to teach Li Shengduan and lived there for several years. And then Wu Han learned from Li Shengduan, and Chen Guan learned from Li Shengduan. And then that's how I learned. So you can see that it's passed down from many generations. Of course, my teacher also taught many people in Beijing. My the other teacher, Chen Guan, also taught many people in Xingtai. So all my classmates are still in China. you know. So what is my responsibility? Okay. I live in America, you know. So I'm here. So I have to train even harder to keep my lineage. So I have to evolve to another version. I'm not going to say it's an American version or whatever country is called that version. I have to evolve based on how I see it, how I teach my people, and how I adapt to my other thoughts in martial arts like Shaolin Kung Fu, Yang style Tai Chi, Chen style Tai Chi that I learned, and also Liu Bafa I also learned in Foshan from my teacher, with a very good lineage from Wei Hui lineage, which is a very strong lineage. Okay, so it's a lot of things evolving in me, and therefore my mindset of looking at Wu Hao may be different from other teacher. Okay, but no matter what difference we are, the fundamentals doesn't change. The Wu Xiang theory, the Liu theory, and the Hao Chen theory that laid down for us, that doesn't change. Okay, so it's like we speak English. Many people speak English in the world. Everybody has their own accents, but the sentence structure of the English doesn't change. It stays as English, except we have a different accent. Like I don't even know what accent I have anymore. I live in Texas. Some, I don't think I have a Texas accent, but I don't know. I may have a Malaysian accent. I have a little British accent. I can't tell what I have anymore. But the important thing is that I have to know English. Same thing with Tai Chi. To be evolved to something else is not a bad thing. It is only a bad thing when you come out of your lineage, you know, and create something else out of it. I'm not saying that you cannot do it. I can only say that why do it when the lineage is so good? You know, I mean, the lineage was laid down for us. It's like Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Catholicism, Taoism, they all lay down for us. Be like them. But you can evolve for yourself to be related to them, but your own self. That's okay. But just don't come out with something completely different unless you're godly, you know. Now, why did I respect this lineage? Because they spend lots of time. That's the only thing they do in the past. But nowadays, we live in a society when we are so busy doing so many things and we don't have the time. And when we don't have the time, how can we have the capability? How can we have the technical know-how? Even though we have cameras, we have all these things, we should be better than our lineage, which is true. Because we got cameras now. We have iPhone 15 coming up, 16, or whatever the next one coming up. You know, all these Samsung phone coming up, these are enhanced technology. Well, how come our Tai Chi are not enhanced? It can be, but you just evolve out of it and use the fundamental of your training. That means your training has to be aligned with what your teacher teach you and what he learned from his teacher, and so on and so forth, you know. For Wu Hao Tai Chi, we have, of course, the 13 torso method or 13 body methods, you know, which is not the 13 potential of Tai Chi, which is sometimes they call it potential, you know. 彭理几安才力走靠，禁锢不判定, you know. So it's like the ward off, roll back, press and push, elbow strike, shoulder strike, pull down and split. And then front, back, left, right, central equilibrium. That's the 13 potential, they call it. Or the 13 essence of Tai Chi. But Wu Hao style has it, all Tai Chi has it, but Wu Hao also have the 13 torso method. Torso means the body. Okay. These all has to be followed. And not to mention other body mechanics, like the fold, the angle, and all that, that has to be followed. But I'm talking about the torso method, which I give many lectures in the past, but like I said, one of these days I'll find a day to do the 13 torso method again, and maybe explain a little bit more based on the movement rather than just talking about the theory. So the 13 torso method has to be followed. Okay, chin in, tuck in, round the back, hollow the chest, sink the elbow, relax the shoulder, chi, go down to the dantian, so on and so forth. So we follow that when we do our Wu Hao Tai Chi all the time, as much as we can, especially when we already know the form. If you follow that, then you are not away from the system. Now, everybody have a way to follow. Everybody have a mindset. Everybody is different, body-wise. Everybody training is different. Now, does it mean the more you train, the better you become? Not necessarily, because everybody intelligence is different. But the more you train with the 13 torso method, then the closer you are to our lineage. So that is very important. Okay? So, of course, the flow is important. Your looks, your presence is very important, all that. But you need to use this 13 torso as a fundamental as part of your training. Once you do that, and with your presence, with your flow, you evolve as one Wu Hao person of the lineage. And then the next person is another Wu Hao person of your lineage. So lineage is very important. And we have to give respect to our lineage holder. Okay? All our lineage holder. Now, let's say, a lot of people train the 24 Yang style Tai Chi, which is a simplified form that was developed in China a long time ago for the convenience of people learning Tai Chi, coming to China to learn. Because Tai Chi is 108 moves. You can't finish it in 1 month unless you're very smart. Most people go to China for a week, 2 weeks, back in the olden days. They want to learn Tai Chi. So the government came out with a form with several teachers together and created this simplified Yang style Tai Chi. What they did was that they took out a lot of information out, so they make it easier for people to learn. And that makes sense. Don't get me wrong on that. And so people can learn Tai Chi and be happy with it and go back and learn Tai Chi. Hopefully when they learn that, they go and learn the traditional Tai Chi. That was the hope. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen to most of the people. Once they learn the simplified Tai Chi, they just decided to do it and they like it. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good form of exercise. But they're missing in some body mechanics in it. Sometimes they didn't talk about the knee and the ankle and all that. Lots of people train and have some knee problem and ankle problem, especially when they learn it from a non-traditional teacher, or the teacher never have a lineage, the teacher doesn't understand the fundamental, but just learn it from somebody in China with no lineage, and then come back here or come back to the country, train for 20 years and teach that. He doesn't have a knee problem, but doesn't understand his body mechanics and the torso method. It affected their knee and the ankle. So it's very, very important that the teacher need to know all that. So therefore, like I said, lineage is very, very important. So my advice is for those who are seriously wanted to study Tai Chi as a way of life. Not to say that you want to be a teacher or anything, it's a way of life. go find a good lineage. Go find somebody who have a good lineage background. Make sure this person doesn't go off the lineage and continue your journey of Tai Chi in a proper way. Because otherwise, it can hurt you over the years. You don't want to see that happen, because over the years, you've been doing Tai Chi in a certain way, not knowing it was hurting you. And by the time it hurts you, it becomes too late, because it has already become part of you. So that's why I encourage people to find a good lineage. If you find somebody who's teaching Tai Chi, ask them, who is your teacher? What is your lineage? And go and research into it. Make sure they come from this major style of Tai Chi. The 5 major styles of Tai Chi: Chen style, Yang style, Wu Hao style, Sun style, and the other Wu style, another Wu style. These are the traditional Tai Chi that exist. Of course, Chen style also divided into several sub-styles, but we're just going to say Chen style, traditional Tai Chi. So today, pretty much my lecture is on this, of the importance of lineage. Does anybody have any questions? I don't know who is online right now. I cannot tell who is on. If you don't say hello to me, I won't know who is on. So let me know if you have any questions now. I'd be very happy to answer you, or I can answer it after we finish this video, if you put some comments on here. Okay, thank you very much. We will continue next Wednesday. Thank you.